Okay, so let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a problem that a lot of people are starting to face. What in the world do you do when you suddenly find yourself responsible for a massive, chaotic collection of, well, stuff? We're talking about how to go from that overwhelming clutter to complete and total clarity.
Just imagine this for a second. A family member, a loved one, passes away, and now you're in charge of their passion project. It could be anything. Vinyl records, comic books, sports cards, maybe thousands of things they spent their entire life collecting.
So you walk down into the basement, or you pop open the attic door, or you slide open that storage unit, and you're just met with this wall of boxes and bins. And that one huge question just hangs in the air. Now what? Where do you even start?
And this is what we call the collector's dilemma. You're looking at years, maybe decades of accumulation with pretty much zero organization. There's no inventory list, you're staring at thousands of items, and you have absolutely no clue what they are, let alone what they might be worth. It's this giant jumble of potential hidden gems and, just junk, and it's impossible to tell which is which.
And if you're thinking, oh, I'll just knock this out over a weekend, you might want to think again. To give you some perspective, cataloging just 1,000 items, and many collections are much larger, can take up to 200 hours of manual work. That's 5 full 40-hour work weeks. Who has that kind of time?
So naturally, you start looking for help. But the problem is, the traditional routes are kind of like a maze of flawed options. Each one has a pretty major downside. Let's break down why this is such a tough nut to crack on your own.
Take a look at this. On one end, you've got do-it-yourself apps. And sure, they're fine if you're a hobbyist with a few items, but they are completely impractical when you're dealing with thousands of things. Plus, their data can be pretty inaccurate. Then, on the other extreme, you have professional appraisers. These folks are the real deal, but they are incredibly expensive. We're talking $500 an hour, or even more. That's total overkill when you just need a starting point. And then there are estate sales. They're fast, yeah, but they take a huge commission, anywhere from 30 to 50%. And their job is just to get rid of everything quickly, not to get you the best value.
And this right here, this really gets to the emotional heart of the issue. It's not just about the time or the money, it's the paralysis. It's that very real nagging fear that while you're trying to clear everything out, you might accidentally toss something worth a ton of money. And that fear, well, it can stop you from doing anything at all. So, this is exactly where a modern solution, something built to fill that huge gap between all those flawed options, comes into play. Let's talk about legacy asset advisors. Here's the most important thing to understand. They don't just look at your stuff. They take that chaotic, stressful situation and transform it into a clear, organized, and truly actionable asset. You literally go from having a problem sitting in your garage to having a valuable asset you can actually make smart decisions about.
And the process itself is designed to be incredibly simple and, key point here, completely hands-off for you. First, their team comes right to where the collection is. Second, using their own proprietary methods and custom AI tools, they photograph and document every single item with about 99% accuracy. It's fast and thorough. Third, they do the research to figure out a fair market value for each piece. And finally, you get a detailed, easy-to-read report. You basically don't have to lift a finger.
Now, this is a really important point. What Legacy Asset Advisors gives you is a valuation. Think of it as an educated estimate of what your things are worth on the open market, so you can make decisions. This is not a formal, certified appraisal. An appraisal is a legally recognized document you'd need for things like insurance claims or IRS tax donations. This valuation, it's the strategic first step you need to figure out what to do next.
Okay, so let's look at the payoff. This is the moment where all that chaos turns into absolute clarity, and you get a real, tangible plan you can actually use.
And this is what it all leads to. This is the deliverable. It's a clean, structured spreadsheet that lists out every single item, gives you a description, and provides an estimated market value range. This document right here is the transformation. You go from a mountain of mystery boxes to an organized inventory that you can finally understand and use.
The real power of this report is what it allows you to do. Suddenly, you know exactly what you have and what it's worth. This is an absolute game changer for dividing assets fairly among family members, which, as we know, can prevent a lot of arguments. You can finally make informed choices. What should we sell? What do we want to keep? What can we donate? And if you do decide to sell, they can even help connect you with trusted buyers or auction houses. And just to be clear, this isn't some small niche issue. We are right in the middle of something called the Great Wealth Transfer. Experts estimate that $84 trillion in assets will be passed down between generations by 2045. And a huge chunk of that, we're talking trillions, is tied up in physical assets, in collectibles, just like the ones we've been discussing.
So at the end of the day, that's the real value. It's not just a list of stuff. It's relief. It's feeling empowered. It's having a clear plan that takes away all that stress and paralysis. It lets you finally move forward with confidence.
So it kind of leaves you with one last question to think about. Whether it's your own collection or one you've inherited, it's always more than just stuff in boxes, right? It's a lifetime of stories. The real question is, what's the story hiding in your collection? And are you ready to find out what it is?